used to find me. I'll be in the last place you would look, in a place where people used to be, a land that's called reality. You'll find me there. I won't be catching up on Reddit. I won't be watching any news. I let the planet spin without me, 'cause everything has been without me sometime. And everyone will be alright if I'm not live by satellite. It's a beautiful day, I'm running away. Don't bother to Facebook Messenger call.
Exciting episode of the Film Lost podcast. Have you ever wanted to listen to a couple guys in their 20s go in-depth on your favorite movie, spanning from before they were born all the way to the modern day? Do you want to know once and for all which movie in a given genre going back the last 40-plus years reigns supreme? Well, on this podcast, we review films from each decade within a certain genre and then compare them in a bracket-style challenge to see which film comes out on top and is declared champion. My name is Aaron Souza, and I'm joined by a couple dudes who definitely I'd enjoy spending a weekend away after the death of our childhood basketball coach. It's Connor Jameson and Sam Majewski.
How we doing, fellas?
How's it going, guys?
Pretty good.
I was worried about what you were gonna say as your little intro there. I thought you were gonna say something like really messed up, like here's a couple guys who will never grow up.
No.
Yeah, with you and your dad jokes, that's what I would expect too.
No, yeah. I wanted it to be a little bit nicer today, you know? Bring some positive attitudes, because we've got a fantastic movie for you today. Mm-hmm. Also, the only, as of today, right now, the only live-action Adam Sandler movie that has ever gotten a sequel. We're looking at 2010's Grown Ups.
Yeah, as we continue our David Spade month, apparently,
and our our Dennis Dugan month, apparently as well, and I'll get into that in a minute.
Duganator.
But, yeah, so Grown Ups, what a movie. Do you guys remember the first time you saw Grown Ups?
I think so.
Yeah, I saw it in theaters.
Really? Wait, you saw it in theaters?
I did.
Oh
I remember
God, that's amazing.
Because I saw Grown Ups 2 in theaters as well. So
Yeah.
Grown Ups.
Why does that surprise me?
Grown Ups is the only franchise where I've seen all movies in theaters opening weekend.
Oh my God! Oh, opening weekend too.
Oh, I didn't wait.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
I don't think I saw the movie in theaters.
You missed out.
But I like when I was younger, when it first came out, I saw it quite a few times, and then I think there was like an 8-year gap when like I haven't seen it. So I just recently saw it.
This was a staple in my house growing up. Like when we wanted to watch something fun, just to like pass the time or have like a fun movie night, we could put on Grown Ups and have a good time.
Funny enough, Kevin James had a movie, Here Comes the Boom.
Yep.
That was our family's staple movie.
Really?
My dad loved Kevin James. Before Here Comes the Boom, it was Paul Blart.
Yep.
And then I think even
any number of his films.
I think even before that, I saw Chuck and Larry a couple times.
God.
See, my family's staple
awesome.
movie was a little bit more raunchy, and I think we watched Spaceballs every other week.
Oh, great movie. Hopefully we get to that on this podcast, because that is such a fun movie.
Yeah, I remember you tried to show it to me, I think freshman year of college, and I think I left. I left pretty early on, so I would love to see it for the first time.
Well, before we get into this movie that we're reviewing today on the podcast, we got to go over some production notes. So this film was released June 25th, 2010, and had a runtime of 1 hour and 42 minutes, which honestly, it kind of puts us right in the middle of what we've seen for runtimes on this podcast. But like, Doesn't feel like it. This movie goes by so fast.
Mm-hmm. It's paced pretty well.
Yeah. Directed by Mr. Dennis Dugan, who also directed Happy Gilmore, Just Go With It, Don't Mess With the Zohan, Jack and Jill, almost every other Adam Sandler movie. But I brought this up because you brought up David Spade. Also, this man directed Beverly Hills Ninja, which was another one of Chris Farley's movies. So we have two relations to Chris Farley in last week's episode of Tommy Boy.
This is Chris Farley and David Spade month.
Yeah, apparently.
We're just going to watch some SNL skits next week.
Yeah, at the end of the month, instead of a bracket challenge, it'll just be like, let's just watch SNL.
Yeah, we're gonna do a tier list instead.
Yep. Produced by Jack Giaraputo.
Jack and Jill.
Who? Yeah. But this man, it's funny you mentioned this too. He also produced Paul Blart Mall Cop, Here Comes the Boom, along with Bedtime Stories, The Longest Yard, 50 First Dates, and there was one other Kevin James film that I didn't put on the list, but now I need to find it.
It's funny while you look that up how, like, Adam Sandler's thing is like he makes sure all of his buddies are getting theirs in his movie. Mm-hmm. I like that. It's also like these guys. It goes beyond just the actors. It's producers, directors. Yep. If you're in with the Sandman, you're in for life.
Oh, for sure. And that's honestly, like, I respect that. I respect the hell out of him for that. Like, he's fully one of those guys that, like, if I'm making it, we're all going. So.
Exactly. And
but he did also do I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry.
Makes sense. Not to spoil the plot of this movie, but it is very much just a bunch of guys hanging out. So, again, you sign me up for a check like that, I'll take it every time.
Yep, pretty much. So also was produced by the great Adam Sandler himself, obviously, and written by Fred Wolf and Adam Sandler. So Fred Wolf, really, his only other good credit is Joe Dirt. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so with an estimated budget of $80 million, which is absolutely insane, because where did that budget go?
Having a good time, man.
Yeah. Can you guys guess how much money this movie made at the worldwide box office?
Worldwide,
I'm gonna go with like 120.
I'll say 200.
271.4.
I was gonna say, when this movie came out, it was like huge.
Yeah, it was massive. But
good for that.
Yeah. Sam, you want to bring us through some reviews and critical thoughts and trivia?
Oh yeah. Start off with the Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
baby.
after listen to these Rotten Tomatoes, I don't know if we're gonna be saying "yeah, baby," but anyways, for Rotten Tomatoes on the tomato meter, the critics gave this movie a whopping 11%.
Damn. I'd be more surprised if I didn't see it already earlier today.
With an audience score of 62%.
Even still, that feels low. Like, I don't know who's reviewing this movie on Rotten Tomatoes, but, like, you guys gotta take it back a notch.
Yeah, it was. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I did find a pretty good half a star review, half a star out of 5.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So this states, quote, "What the hell? That was awful. It had all of the ingredients to be an entertaining comedy film, and the trailer sure did a good job of making it look like it was going to be good. But it was a train wreck. The humor was forced, and the script just didn't work at all. I love a good film with Adam Sandler in the cast, and I have a good collection of them sitting on my shelf. But this one isn't going to be watched again."
I feel like if you like Adam Sandler movies, then, like, I mean, this is an Adam Sandler movie.
Yeah, it's its own genre at this point. I feel like you're either in or you're out.
Yeah. I guarantee all these people who are like, I like Adam Sandler, he's pretty good, have never actually really watched or enjoyed an Adam Sandler movie, but every time they get to, they're like, yeah, I like Adam Sandler. Mm-hmm. Those are the kind of people that are writing these things.
Yeah.
What else you got for us?
I got a 5-star review. This person really liked it. It says, quote, literally one of the most hilarious, refreshing, and stress-relieving movies. I could watch this over and over again and never get tired. A bunch of silly good old friends messing around never fails to get a good laugh out of me. Real friendship in S-tier comedy. Love it.
It's like that man ended the review 8 times. That review.
Yeah.
What a refreshing comedy.
And
it was really good.
And
love it.
And
oh my god.
I definitely agree with that review more, just because you don't take it that serious. It's
right. Like, this is not, Citizen Kane. This is a bunch of dudes being dudes.
There's no profound hidden meanings that you have to like pay attention really close to figure out. This is literally just a bunch of friends hanging out at a lake and getting into some shenanigans.
Yeah, it's like Chris Rock, Adam Sandler, Kevin James, Rob Schneider, and David Spade. It's like, it's just,
what were you
have to understand where like those actors like are.
Yeah, where they operate. Like, we're talking about the dudes who did Joe Dirt and Deuce Bigelow, Ace Gigolo.
Yes.
Like, come on. and Happy Gilmore. Like, this is not The Godfather. Oh my god. Anyways, you got anything else for us?
Those are the reviews I got, but I do have a couple trivia fun facts for this movie that I didn't know about. We'll start off with that Adam Sandler wrote this and was set to release this movie in the mid-90s. And he actually had Chris Farley in the Kevin James role.
Wow, another Chris Farley callback.
But unfortunately, obviously, Chris Farley passed away. So that was halted until 2010.
A long time.
Yeah. But imagine Chris Farley as Eric Lemonsoff.
Like, I love Kevin James, and he was awesome, but like, Kevin James's brand of physical comedy would have been so much better with Chris Farley.
Yeah, like when you swung and hit the tree, that would have been.
Yeah, or like right at the beginning when we first get introduced by him, and he tries to get out of the pool, and runs over to his wife and eats it. He just eats it.
Yeah, that was something I noticed too, because I knew like Chris Farley was in that friend group, and it feels like this role was written for him.
Oh, for sure.
But Kevin James still really good in this. I don't want to be like,
yeah, absolutely.
We got stuck with Kevin James. No, it was
honestly
really funny.
Everyone in this movie, I'm not a big Rob Schneider fan, so I could do without him. But everyone else in this movie, like I just like watching them on a screen. Like, they just seem like really cool dudes. Mm-hmm. Like, I'd hang out with David Spade.
Yeah,
dude. I after this, like after the 2 movies that we've watched, I'm gonna go buy his audiobook autobiography and listen to it.
Yeah, it's funny too because like since we did see like young David Spade too, obviously this came out 2010. That's 12 years old, but like a more mature David Spade, and like his comedy style he's definitely like perfected it, I would say.
Oh,
like
for sure.
In Tommy Boy, some of like the sarcastic remarks kind of just felt forced.
Yeah,
I didn't think that was the case here. I thought maybe it was even better because of how big and how close this actual like friend group was, where it was more natural. But I thought like it just hits better.
Oh yeah, every time.
Yeah, so
all right.
Going along the so Kevin James' character, Eric Lemonsoff, his name actually appears in a variety of Adam Sandler movies and films, such as The Wedding Singer, Click, and Jack and Jill. I don't know what is with that name, but it's
apparently he's got a thing for the name. I honestly, I was like trying to think of what movies have I seen that name in, and then you listed off 3 movies that I have not seen from Adam Sandler. It's like, okay.
I mean, I've seen those. I mean, I don't remember shit from anything, so obviously I'm not going to remember. I don't even remember their character names in this movie, and I watched it like 5 hours ago.
You did call Kevin James Kevin Smith when we were planning this.
Well, that's even worse, because that's his actual name. Like, I was never going to remember.
That's his actual
I was never going to remember Eric Lemmensoffenheimer.
I'm still not it.
I know, that was a joke.
What's David Spade's character's name?
I just have in my notes Gigolo. So
nice.
that's what I refer to him as. But luckily Rob Schneider's name in this movie is also Rob, so that
works.
Nailed that.
Yeah, you'll be sure to get one of one.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, and I got one more for you. So we were talking about how this friend group, pretty close and everything. So after the movie premiered, Adam Sandler bought each of, Chris Rock, Kevin James, Rob Schneider, and David Spade a brand new Maserati. But
wow.
Chris Rock said he appreciated the gift, but it made him feel like Adam Sandler's bitch.
Yeah, I can see that.
Very fair.
I'd feel the same way. Oh boy.
I would have taken it anyway, but
yeah, but like, hey,
if I'm Adam
I don't
Sandler's
feel good
bitch,
about
I'm Adam
this,
Sandler's
but
bitch. It is what it is.
Oh my god. Well, I got a little something for you guys.
Oh boy.
I went out. If you've been a fan of this podcast for the few months that we've been doing it, you know that back before we made this theme switch, we used to play a game on here called 1-Star Amazon Reviews.
Oh boy.
Now, I have some 1-Star Amazon reviews. I'm not going to make you guess the movie because they're all about grown-ups.
That'll be easy.
That'd be a pretty easy game. But I did want to call them out because, boy, is this a great place for content. Also, just in an unrelated note, game nights are coming back to this podcast soon. We have plans in the works, so be ready for that. Should be fun. So let's start with this first review. It says, I thought, quote, I like Adam Sandler, so this will probably be decent, end quote. Nope. I didn't realize he brought every failed actor from his first time at SNL to this movie. It's cringy as can be and just lame and boring. The music and characters are stereotypes I wouldn't want associated with anything. We watched about 15 minutes of a movie I had to fight for, and then I lost the privilege of selecting our date night movies potentially forever. Oof. Thanks for that, grown-ups. Save your marriage and your money. Choose something else.
Now, I'm not a married man, but if grown-ups is the reason that you are having some issues, there might be some larger things afoot.
Some bigger issues here than grown-ups.
I don't think that your significant other is halfway through this movie and being like, you know what? I can't take it anymore. I don't want you in the house.
Just get out.
Find somewhere else to be. I can't look at you right now.
Oh, God. Yeah.
I mean, if that is truly what happened, good on grown-ups.
Can you imagine asking, like, getting divorced, and then your friend asks, like, oh, what happened? Why'd you guys divorce? And you're like, fucking grown-ups.
Man, she hated grown-ups. I thought it'd be funny. You know the
Oh, but you liked it? No, I hated it too.
Do you guys watch I Think You Should Leave?
Can't say
I don't think so.
It's like a Netflix sketch comedy show. It's pretty funny, but there's one sketch where Tim Robinson, he's like the guy who created it, he's like talking about a movie he tried to make, and he was like, I thought it'd be a hit. Turns out it fucking sucks. I feel like that's how this marriage went.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, I got another one for you. This one says, terrible movie. Quit watching at the Ave Maria joke song. How would Adam Sandler like it if someone makes fun of the Jewish Requiem for the Dead on screen?
Alrighty.
That part was like 10 minutes into this movie.
No.
This man made it 10 minutes into the movie and was like, I can't do this anymore. This is ridiculous.
How dare they?
How dare they use Ave Maria like almost every other movie ever?
How dare they make fun of it?
Oh, they didn't even make fun of it. Like, it was just the dude singing it.
Yeah, it was just like the joke, and it happened to be Rob Schneider singing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then this last one. Oh my god, my cat is going insane. That's going to be on the podcast.
I was trying to ignore it.
It in there. Nope, she's going insane, and I love it. All right.
She's hyped up for...
This one is in all caps, so just keep that in mind when I read this.
You got to read it like it's in all caps then.
I could not watch the whole movie.
Thank you.
They kept referring to a dog that had its vocal cords cut, so made a weird noise with its throat when it tried to bark. Dogs bark like people talk. If you have a problem with a dog barking, then do not get a dog. It is barbaric and inhumane to cut an animal's vocal cords. It is definitely not funny. Disgusted me so much I could not continue to watch the movie, which is pretty pathetic to begin with. Do not support this movie or making fun of an animal's welfare, joking about the noise it makes because it can't bark due to the vocal cords, which is barbaric, and then joking about putting it down because it barked or made a weird noise trying to bark. They need to cut that whole part out of the movie. Alert the Humane Society and PETA and other people who care about the welfare of animals. Censor that crap out of there. Only sick people would think that was funny.
Alrighty.
Well, Jesus. I'm pretty sure they didn't purposely cut the dog's vocal cords out just for this movie.
Jeez.
I just love that it's like they go, it is barbaric and inhumane to cut an animal's vocal cords, and then like two sentences later, it can't bark due to cut vocal cords, which is barbaric. It's like, okay, thank you. We know.
We understand.
It's barbaric. Woo. Oh my god. It's like, this dog had its vocal cords cut, and that's why it can't bark. And then, like, later in the review, they're like, it's pathetic that they're making jokes about the noise it makes because it can't bark due to vocal cords being cut. It's like, no shit. You just said that.
Yeah.
It's also like, I have pets. I haven't had to do anything like that, but I make fun of my cats all the time.
Oh, 100%.
Like, I don't joke about putting them down. Like, I don't even think it's like a line that's being crossed doing that. I just call my cat like fat all the time.
Yeah. Like, no, you're not actually like everyone's. All right, I'll get into it later in this review.
Yeah.
But
yeah, like I work in the veterinary field, and I really, I mean, it didn't bother me. Like,
yeah, I put animals down for a living.
I mean, pretty much, but
I do it professionally.
I laugh every time.
Oh my god! All right. Well, before we can review this movie moment by moment, we've got to watch the trailer. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready to watch?
Yes, sir.
All right. 3, 2, 1, play.
In 1978, they were the best of friends.
Everybody say championship.
Now they're getting back together for the first time in over 30 years.
Hey, what's up, Lenny? Buddy, I thought you were gonna start working out. What does that mean? You're fat? No!
Next summer, they're meeting each other's families.
Oh, and this must be your mother.
My wife.
I'm sorry.
I'm not. Oh, grody.
learning about their kids.
Mommy, I want some milk.
Come here. We'll give you a little something. Your son is so cute. How old is he?
48 months. That's 4. Yeah.
And reliving their past.
Rope on a tree, baby. Class is in session.
Oh, baby.
Let's go. This was a mistake. Let go. I can't let go. I'm just kidding.
Adam Sandler, Kevin James, Chris Rock, Rob Schneider, and David Spade. Grown-ups.
Yeah, that was good.
That was so much fun. It just that is a movie that just is fun. Like you can tell right from the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy, oh boy. Well, are you guys ready to go through this movie moment by moment and review it with our own eyes and mouth and ears and all that kind of stuff?
What are you even talking about, man?
I don't know. Are you ready to review this movie, Connor?
I am.
Well, let's hit it.
And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Come on, everybody. Here we go.
It's 106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
Hello, boys! I'm back!
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We've got sound effects now. Let's go!
We got transition music.
Oh, that's
yeah!
Surprise!
That was Sam's first time hearing it.
Yeah.
Yep. Put together by me, by yours truly. Connor, let's bring us through this movie.
Alrighty then. So, this movie starts with a youth basketball championship game showcasing the stars of this movie with young Adam Sandler hitting the game-winning shot. So they all end up going to a lake house to celebrate with their coach, who they call Buzzer. And he's talking to them just about how important like friendship is and how they should remember all this. Buzzer dies within a time jump that takes place. So like 30 years in the future, Buzzer is dead, or he has just died, and we meet pretty much all the kids on that basketball team just grown up. So we have Adam Sandler. He is a rich Hollywood agent. He has a really spoiled family, but he's married to Salma Hayek. That's a win. And then we have Kevin James. He is kind of a mommy's boy. All good, though. He has a son, as you probably saw in the trailer, still drinks breast milk, even though he is 4 years old. We then meet Chris Rock. He is a house husband with an overbearing mother-in-law and I would say overbearing wife as well. Not overbearing. Ungrateful, rude, whatever.
Maya Rudolph type wife.
Yeah, that's rude.
That's a good way to describe it.
So then we have David Spade. He is a gigolo who lives in a trailer. I think we learned that in the sequel, but anyway. And finally, we have Rob Schneider, luckily just named Rob, because, again, I don't remember anyone else's name. He has a thing for older women, and he's also thrice divorced. So they all go to Buzzer's funeral. They all meet up again with each other. And at the funeral, they talk about how Adam Sandler has rented that same lake house from their past for them all to go to for the weekend, just to catch up, unwind, and pay respects to Buzzer and spread his ashes. But Adam Sandler and his family, they have plans to go to Milan because his wife is a fashion designer and one of her lines is getting dropped. So they're trying to dip out pretty early.
Yeah. Is it weird to you guys that there was all this celebration over like little childhood Pee-wee championships in basketball?
Yeah. It's
because it's weird to me. Like
there are a couple weird things about this. One, they were running a 5-man squad, which I get, like, as a kid, you know, you got a lot of energy, but I mean, I think we all played like rec league basketball. We had benches.
Yeah, we said we had 1 or 2 people at least.
Yeah, kids get hurt. The kids are dumb. They'll do dumb things and run into walls.
Yeah. Yep, I've done that.
Yeah. Also, like, I've won one of those rec league championships. Hey, I can't tell you anyone who was also on that team, or who the coach was.
Nice.
Like, it wasn't like the bright spot of my childhood.
Yeah, like this movie makes it out to be like this is the
like top,
the pinnacle.
They peaked here.
Yeah, and even at the funeral, they were like, you know, we were the only team that the coach ever won, the only championship team. It's like the man coached 8-year-olds.
Yeah.
He's not that legendary a coach.
It's also kind of weird. It's like, oh, so he was just like, what, a career youth coach?
Yeah,
like,
it's something.
I didn't think it was like a school thing, because then it's a bit more understandable. But like, the youth teams are typically coached by dads of players on the team.
Yeah. Yep. It would have been honestly so much better if they had just made it like a high school championship.
Yeah.
Like that would have worked, because that means something. Like if you win your school's only high school championship, like that's a big deal.
You're a legend there.
Yeah. I also just never noticed, like, the amount of times I've watched this movie, I never noticed that the lake house was the same one that they go back to.
Yeah.
That they had the celebration at. I was like, oh, look at that.
I figured it was a pretty major point to what they were doing.
Yeah, I just didn't notice.
I know we talked about it, but like, they're just such good friends. Like, all their like humor at each other's expenses, like, that's so realistic. Like, if I just saw a friend like I hadn't seen in a while, I'm gonna say something like, "Oh, you got fat.
You look fucking fat." Yeah, like 100%. Are you kidding?
Yeah, like that's how friends are, and they nailed it.
Mm-hmm.
Because they are friends.
It literally did feel like they were just like, it was just a bunch of dudes, a bunch of friends hanging out and having fun, and I love it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just works.
Yeah. Also, Kevin James, I talked about a little earlier. His introduction was awesome.
Yeah.
Just the way he just breaks the pool. Everyone's going flying out. He runs over to get the phone, just trips, face plants. Just, oh my God, pure comedy. So good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the hot wife too. I always love that. And
anytime a movie has a hot wife or a hot mom, you're just into it.
Yeah.
I mean,
me and Rob.
Another thing I had an issue with about this whole thing, and especially like at the funeral, how was Lenny the guy to speak? Like, the buzzer wanted the kid that he coached 30 years ago to come and talk at his funeral.
Yeah, did he have like no friends? No family?
Apparently he was well liked. I mean, do you see the amount of people that were at his funeral? It was out the door.
Oh yeah. It's like there's my best man at my wedding, my brothers. But no, I want this 8-year-old who doesn't even know my first name. I want him to come.
I don't even know if they've talked recently either. Like I think
he said that like I don't think he'd seen him in a long time.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh god, yeah, that was a little weird. I was like, really? This man doesn't have like a son or daughter or a wife who would come and speak?
Yeah, exactly.
Nah, he's like, my dying wish, I want the kid that I coached that won me my one championship with those little kiddos. Like, okay, bud.
You know what I'm just realizing now too? Dennis Dugan, the director, cameoed in the
he did
in that basketball scene. He was the referee who called Chris Rock for a double dribble.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was funny too. He gets called for the double dribble. He's like, "Why? Because I'm black." And the ref just like takes the ball and walks away. He's like, "Yeah, that's what I thought."
I do like also that they made the black guys bad at basketball, just to go against the stereotype.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a scene later on too that I loved involving Chris Rock and another guy.
Also, so like we mentioned it while I was reading that review, but the Ave Maria part where he's just does this extended take singing that song, everyone's laughing, and as soon as it's over, you just get
yeah. Yeah, even
awesome.
Like the priest was just like, "What the fuck is going on, man?"
Yeah, he was looking around like, "Is this dude serious?"
Oh
my God.
It worked for me, not for that guy, I guess, but
yeah, apparently that guy was enraged.
Yeah,
all I can imagine he was just like just at the movie. Yes, I pulled out another one.
Aaron, you're gonna have fun with those, aren't you?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have so much fun with them.
I'm having fun too.
I've got more to
sprinkle
to bring up here. Yeah. So when they're at the reception, and everyone's talking, we get the scene of the little kid, the 4-year-old, drinking the breast milk, and I'm like, what the fuck? And then Kevin James is like, oh, we just have such a hard time, or no, was it his wife? One of them said like, oh, we just have such a hard time saying no, Oh yeah, it was the mom, and then the girl, their daughter walks by, and Kevin James is like, hey, can you use a fork with that cake, please? She's like, no, and she's like smashing it in her hands.
Yeah.
If you look at the background actor, the woman in the background of that, the look she gave was she was just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, it was so funny.
Yeah, it's funny too, because like that scene in the trailer, like I think it's Chris Rock, or no, Salma Hayek's like, oh, how old is he? And they're like 48 months. Because I worked at a trampoline park, and there was one customer who had a son who was in a stroller, who was way too old to be in a stroller.
Oh, Jesus.
And one of my coworkers joked, and he was like, how old do you think that kid is? Like 80 months old?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was funny. So they get to the lake house. All the kids, they're just hanging inside though. So the dads get their kids out of the house, and we get the rope swing scene, which again in the trailer, where Kevin James just refuses to let go of the rope and hits the tree, falls, except he also fell on a bird, which the kids notice, and they nurse it back to health over the course of this movie. They go out to a dinner, they're reminisce about the past, they're joking around, and Adam Sandler runs into this guy, Dickie, who was on the opposing basketball team as a kid. He is still obsessed with the fact that he thinks Adam Sandler's foot was out before he took that game-winning shot. So he's just like, no, we got a rematch. I'll do anything. because like Adam Sandler jokes like, oh, like I think we're past that point. Like, I'll have a getting off the couch competition. He's like, I'm down. Let's do it. But yeah, Adam Sandler and Salma Hayek, they're like fighting because like everyone in Adam Sandler's family besides him is very pretentious, spoiled. So like she still wants to go to Milan, but they decide to stay a bit later or leave later so they can stay, and Adam Sandler can go with the guys and spread Coach Buzzer's ashes around McIntyre Island, which is, a little island in the lake. So we learned that Rob has daughters from his past marriages who are going to come visit, and first one shows up and she's a smoke show, which they all get to ogle at her for a while. And then they decide to play their game called Arrow Roulette, which is where, as the name might imply, you just take an arrow, shoot it straight up. Whoever stands in the circle longest wins. And, once they shoot that arrow, everyone runs but Rob. And he wins, and his prize is an arrow through the foot. So,
oh my god!
I do want to bring up something for that real quick. So I don't know if it was intentional or not, but the game was the last person to stand wins. So he won as soon as everybody.
He could have ran away.
He won a long time ago.
I was gonna say he could have just like ran away instead of staying there. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but
I don't know if the dog was also technically playing or what. Well, like even when the dog got evacuated from there, like he could have just walked away.
Yeah.
Instead, he was just sitting there praying, like, dude, just go away.
You already won.
Oh my god.
But yeah, no, he gets an arrow through the foot, and then we meet his other two daughters, one of which is another smoke show. And the other one, they made her not a smoke show.
Looks exactly like Rob Schneider.
Which, again, we'll touch upon it later, but Rob Schneider looks fucking ridiculous in this movie.
Yeah, he does. Oh, my God. No, this was, like, that first section. When they first get to the lake house, one of my favorite moments in this movie. Like, absolute favorite. And shout out to Cameron Boyce. Unfortunately, rest in peace.
Yeah.
He passed away a couple years ago, but has one of the funniest moments in this movie as they're all looking at the house like, oh, this is cool. The grandma, the black grandma is like, yeah, the mother-in-law, she's like, oh, they got a porch swing. It goes up the stairs and just straight up just absolutely decks him to the ground, just throws him over. And the way that you see it on screen, you just see him go, boom.
It's a blur.
It's like, damn.
Like, if you guys know football, like, there's that Derrick Henry, like, stiff arm where he just takes a guy and he just throws him off of him. I think he got inspiration based off how Big Mama just shoved Cameron Boyce down.
Dude, that was so funny.
Yeah.
Another iconic scene is the maze scene. My family, still to this day, like if I go maze with my around my family, they'll do it. They'll say, "Maze, it's amazing!" Like that scene is just amazing. All right,
maze.
I said it. It's amazing.
Wait.
It's corn. Just say corn.
And of course David Spade, he's at it's corn. It's corn, everybody. He means corn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of jokes in this are at Rob Schneider's expense, which I love.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm not a big Rob Schneider fan, so like I was all for it, but it was really just one of those things like, I just enjoyed. It felt real. It felt like a bunch of friends hanging out, making fun of each other and having laughs, and it just makes me so happy every single time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like they didn't force them to be like acting together. Mm-hmm. It felt like they were all friends, and they just it didn't seem like it was part of the script, I guess. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah,
almost. Obviously,
yeah. I do know a lot of the jokes and a lot of the stuff like that in this movie were improvised by the actors. So, like, you get, I feel like a lot of those laughing scenes where, like, they'll say something and you just see like Adam Sandler start dying laughing or something like that's real. And it's because those guys are legit just sitting there on camera telling jokes.
Just shooting the shit.
Yeah,
and it works.
It works every time. Yeah. How did Kevin James not hurt himself falling off that rope?
Yeah, that's the thing too. I think it's just because so he jumps off, realizes he's way too high, holds on, and then he does like a quadruple backflip onto rocks, and just falls down like this hill. And he's all good.
Yeah. Yeah, he would have been hurting for sure.
The whole thing about this is like, hey, they're older than when they were kids. I'm 23. I hurt getting up out of bed wrong.
Same.
You're telling me that 40, I don't know how old Kevin James is, but you're telling me you're doing quad flips, landing on your face.
Or like a 20-foot drop.
Yeah. He jokes around. He's like, "Oh, the bone is through the knee," and then it's just a stick. Like, no, I'd be like, call an ambulance.
Yeah, I'm done.
I cannot move. Home. I don't care if nothing is broken. I am waiting for that ambulance.
And then we get to the dinner scene. Man, those guys can hold a grudge. That dude, Dickie Bailey, man, like, dude, you were children. Get over it, my guy.
Like, it really makes it sound like this was a super small town. Like maybe 15 people living in it. Where it's like, yeah.
They had 6 kids.
They had 10 kids, 5v5. And that's the only thing people talk about in this town.
Apparently.
Just 30 years ago, there was a basketball game played.
Yep.
Real boring town.
Yeah, I would hate to be around that kind of guy. Like, just imagine like what he's like at work. Like, man, if I ever had the opportunity to take him on again, man, it's like, dude, who cares?
Yeah,
it was 30 years ago. Let it go.
Yeah, he definitely.
I'm trying to work.
He'd definitely be the guy. Like, they would have like a basketball game on TV, and he'd be like, I used to play him back in my day.
Yeah, I used to be a bit of a baller myself in my day.
I would have gone pro, but there's one game the ref just screwed us so bad, just ruined it for me.
Oh my god!
You know what it's like? It's Have you seen Billy Madison?
I have not.
Oh boy,
I have.
It's like Steve Buscemi's character in that. He's got like the list on his right by his bed.
Oh yeah.
It's just every day I just wake up thinking about that game.
This is also the part of the movie where we get the we do see a little bit of how disconnected Lenny's family is. Actually quite a bit. They are like so, from the moment they step in that cabin, just don't want to be there. They're like, this is, I think one of the kids literally said it's like it's what is it, like some Survivor type shit?
Yeah.
When they go to this cabin, it's like, dude. And then he asks the waitress at dinner for Voss water. And she goes, it's tap water. And he's like, what country's that from? It's like, bro, get it together.
Yeah. And I didn't mention it. Adam Sandler's family, they have a nanny, but
yeah.
Adam Sandler's thing in this whole movie is he doesn't want people to think he's rich, essentially. So he's just trying to convince that, like, all his friends that this nanny is actually just a foreign exchange student.
Yeah, which, like,
who cares?
If you also, yeah, who cares? Also, They're going to Milan for his wife's fashion show.
They call him Hollywood.
You're rich. Everyone knows it.
Now that I bring it up, I think it's more like he doesn't want to seem like he's just some entitled rich guy.
Yeah, that's
like
fair.
He's still just one of the guys. He just happens to be super stupid rich.
We also get the scene here with the dog, the first scene with the dog that one of our reviewers definitely did not like.
Probably picketed outside outside his theater, just like, do not watch this movie. Animal abuse.
Yeah, he just thinks about saving animals and fondles himself at night.
Jesus Christ.
Everyone's had one of those moments though with their pets though, where they're like, you know, it's like I love this animal. This animal is part of our family, but I would put you down right now. You need to stop what you're doing.
Yeah,
and definitely hearing that bark at 5 a.m. would put me in one of those moods and be like, bro, chill.
Yeah, it's like one of the running jokes. Like each morning, like the dog is barking and someone's just shouting, "Put that stupid thing down."
Oh my god. How did you guys feel about the scenes with Robbie's daughters? Because I was not much of a fan of those. I could have got done without that.
I thought it was funny at first.
Yeah.
Like, cause they're joking, like, cause they call him like an Oompa Loompa, like an Elvis impersonator, and all of a sudden, like, from the clouds, essentially, he just has like these two perfect daughters, and then a third.
And then a third.
It's funny, like the first time they're like they got their looks like 95% from the mother, and that's probably lowballing it. Like, I thought that was a funny joke, and then they just kept making those jokes, and I was like, all right.
Yeah, I mean, it was just cringy, like, especially when they were all like sitting there looking at the girl's butt.
Yeah,
like I was just like, okay, guys, like we could have done without this part. Another scene that I also didn't like was the arrow roulette stuff. I just was not. That I wasn't really into either. It was like, this is stupid. Like, this is really dumb.
I don't know. I feel like you get your guy friends all together, you're gonna do some stupid stuff.
Yeah, but I've never thought to want to just shoot an arrow in the air and be like, am I gonna die today? Because that's what could happen.
Well, apparently this is their game, so they were doing it at kids.
Dude, and Rob was 6 inches from death.
Not even.
Like, if that arrow was 6 inches closer to his body, it's going through his head.
Yeah.
Aaron, what are you talking about? It's not like you've never did stuff like that as a kid. You know, throw bottles against a tree in the woods or anything.
All
like
right,
that?
You know what? You know what? All right.
I don't think
Aaron's a delinquent. He's a hooligan.
Well, now we got to tell the story. All right. So when we were really young, Sam's little brother and I and my sister were out in the woods at Sam's old house, just, messing around, being kids, whatever. And I found a glass bottle. I was like, oh, you know what? I want to throw it against a tree and see if it breaks. All right. Glass bottle. It should break pretty easily if you chuck it against a tree.
Oh, Jesus.
I get up there. I line it up. There's a pretty big tree in front of me. I'm standing probably like 20, 25, maybe 30 feet away. 10 yards. I chuck this thing, clangs off the tree, it doesn't break. I was like, okay, whatever. Sam's little brother, who's probably like 6 at the time, like he's 6 or 7, like he's young. I was like, I want to try. Okay. Hand in the bottle. I'm standing a good 10, 15 feet away from the tree, equal and parallel to it, but like 10 or 15 feet to the right of it.
Mm-hmm.
Alex gets up, same distance that I was at, 30 feet away from the tree. 30 feet away from me at a 15-foot angle of difference.
What was the wind speed?
Throws it.
While you're at it.
Wind speed was perfect. It was nice and dry out that day. This kid throws it and misses the tree and hits me right in the forehead. I had to go to the hospital, and I got my forehead glued shut. I still have the scar to this day.
So much.
It was so bad.
Yep.
Oh gosh, I don't know. That just reminded me of that time.
Yeah, you're right. There are some pretty dumb. You know what? I take it back. Kids do dumb shit. I'm putting that on a T-shirt.
Kids do some dumb shit. Just put you getting smacked by a beer bottle.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that was a fun time. That was. I just, to this day, I just do not understand how he missed so badly yet so perfectly to hit me 15 feet away from our target tree.
And the bottle still didn't break.
Oh no, it didn't break. It hit me square in the forehead. Did not break at all. It clanged off my forehead. Yep.
It might be an issue of, was he even aiming at the tree? Like what if
he might have been?
Yeah, what if he was just spot on?
Yeah, he was like, "Fuck this guy. I'm gonna fucking
He's like, look
at 6 years old. Okay, yeah.
Hey,
everyone's got their own internal monologue.
God. Yeah, and then a couple days later, they came over and he made me a very nice handwritten card that said, "Sorry you got hurt at my house," and had me scoring a goal in soccer. So it was all good. I still have that card somewhere.
Aww.
That's funny.
Yeah, dude, I keep all my cards. Anyways, back to the grown-ups. Now that we've gone in this long tangent.
Jesus. All right. So, so Salma Hayek, she is being a busy business mom. Her daughter, her tooth falls out, and she essentially just spoils that there is no tooth fairy. Gasp.
There's no tooth fairy?
Yeah. She's like, I'll put $1 under your pillow.
Damn.
And then after like her daughter runs away crying, she starts to realize how removed she is from her kids, like how caught up she is with work and everything. Mm-hmm. And then all the kids, like, they've accepted the no technology that the dads want, so they're all like bonding without like their technology. They have the canned string phones. I still don't know if those actually work or not, but I'm no scientist. So then,
yes, those actually work.
Cool. So then, Salma, she starts seeing like all the kids having fun, start bonding together. So she wants to stay longer and cancel their trip to Milan, which Adam Sandler agrees. So they go to a water park that day. And
Water
Whiz, which is funny because they whiz in the water. No, but so
no. Well, back to the podcast.
Technically, they did piss in the pool, but
they did piss in the
fact
pool.
check.
That's another.
That is true statement.
True.
So the wives and husbands, they separate with the kids going with the dads. The girls start attracting this Canadian hunk from across the way, and they get him to come over, and he's got a high squeaky voice, so they laugh in his face. While that's happening, the dads are just hanging out with the kids. They're sneaking up into the water slide. They're doing zip lines. And while they're doing the zip line, they run into Dickie and the rest of like the that opposing team who still are obsessed with it. Not just Dickie. Mm-hmm. So like they challenge them to do like cool things on the zip line. So the kids go. Adam Sandler does like some spins and a flip. So they tell Steve Buscemi's character Wiley, like, go through like hook your feet and go like upside down, which he does, and he can't get out, so he just goes through a fucking shed. plows right through. It's like the cartoons where, you know, like the coyote just runs right through like a wall, and it's just like the outline of his body essentially. So then they're just chilling back at the lake house, and Adam Sandler starts teaching his one of his sons, Bean. No, that's not it. Greg.
It's, Keithy, I believe.
No, that's Cameron Boyce's character. It's Greg.
Yeah, that's who he was teaching.
No, he was teaching.
No, it was the other
he was
one.
teaching Greg how to shoot a bank shot, and Adam Sandler was just swishing him left and right. That'll come back later. And that night, the adults, they get drunk. They start talking about like the relationships, and they start dancing. And it's very heavily implied that, you know, a lot of them had sex. And later that morning, that bird that Kevin James almost killed, it's finally healed up, and they release it into the wild.
The whole, like, one of the best characters in this movie,
Wiley,
is Gloria.
Oh, Gloria.
No, it's Gloria. Gloria carries almost every scene she's in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know who her actress is, and I should know that. But
Joyce Van Patten.
She is, dude. She fucking rocks every scene. Like, just magnet for all the scenes.
Gloria is Rob's wife. I don't think we made that clear.
Yes.
Older wife.
Yeah, she's Rob's wife. Yeah, very.
Yeah. You know, she definitely is like, because one of the things I liked about this is like a lot of the jokes are about like physical things, like, you know, Kevin James' fat jokes, Rob's like his hair and whatever, Gloria's age, and they all are just like, they're okay with it. Like, they take them in stride, which I like, because it's not like, yeah, the jokes are technically at their expense, but they riding with them. They're dishing them back. All good.
Oh, yeah. And also, the water park was a lot of fun. I've been to that water park. Water Whiz is a real place in Massachusetts. Yep. It's down in like the Cape area below Boston, like that New Bedford, Plymouth area. It's down there. I think it might actually be in Plymouth. But I have family that lives down there, and we went like after this movie came out. So I knew about Water Whiz, and we were like, "Yeah, we're gonna go to Water Whiz." I will tell you right now, with the exception of the dropper that they did with Steve Buscemi, every part, every scene, all the rides, all the attractions, all real. It's all 100% real.
That's sick.
It was awesome.
Did you piss where they pissed?
Like, no, I did not piss where they pissed.
Missed opportunity.
But like, you know, right when we get there and we see the big wave pool, and that's where the women, that's where they like set up shop, is in front of that big wave pool. Like, been there, been in that wave pool. The way where the Canadian hunk is set up as a lifeguard, that's where the actual lifeguard's set up, because there's like the wave pool right there, and then you can see behind him there's like a kiddie pool type area. And so they're like semi-connected, but yeah, the lifeguard's set up there. So it was just cool to see all this little stuff, like the big dropper where the Big Mama gets all soaking wet because all the water. Like, that's super real. Like, it was cool that they actually used the park to film this. They didn't just be like,
let's build one.
It's a park. Yeah, like, let's build one.
Yeah.
No, they actually went and took this park, which is so Adam Sandler too.
I do find it really funny that Canadian was just like basically wearing a Speedo in like the kiddie section, and he's just like flexing everything, and like you just see like kids just splashing around. It's like, hey man, maybe not right there.
Yep. And then he walks up to them and he's like, "Oh, hey, you been to Saskatchewan?"
Hey,
it's like,
dude,
you need to hide that.
Well, he was with the pecs and the abs, so
yeah. Well, it didn't work.
It is funny too, because after I saw this movie in middle school history class, I had to do a project on like one of the provinces of Canada, and I had Saskatchewan.
Oh, nice.
So I could only think of that.
Nice.
So I tried to do my thing, and I was like, "Hey, so you ever heard of Saskatchewan?" No one got it though.
Oh my god. Nice.
Complete whiff.
Yeah, you probably said that to what, like a room of like 12-year-olds? Like, what's this guy saying?
Yeah. Yeah. They didn't understand it. My humor was too highbrow for them.
Yeah. Yeah. The dropper. That Steve Buscemi just crashing into that thing, man. It's so good.
I like the build up to it too. He's like, Wiley, go on your feet. He's like, why? Why do I have
to? I got kids.
He's like, yeah, you're an animal. He's like, I'm an animal. I'm an animal. Why can't you do it?
Dude, Steve Buscemi's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, he comes back in a full body cast. It's funny.
Oh yeah. I think we should put Water Whiz on a list of movie locations that we need to visit as a podcast.
Yeah, definitely.
Just go and be like, yep, podcast day out, Water Whiz. Just put it on Twitter. Adam Sandler is really good at basketball.
Oh, yeah.
Like, really good. Like, even in real life, like, he's really good at basketball.
Well, that's the thing, too. Like, in a lot of movies where, like, people are playing basketball, they do the thing where, like, you shoot and then it just cuts to the ball going in. No, they just had the camera rolling, and Adam Sandler was just banking these shots in.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he is really good. Like, he does pick up with, like, some actual NBA players. Like, it's like,
he's like 50.
It's like one of those things where it's like you see, like, an old guy who can, like, do a flip, and you're like, why can you do that? Like, why are you so good at basketball?
Yep. Exactly. Especially with, like, and he's one of those guys that, you know, you see him in public, he's walking around in an oversized t-shirt and huge shorts. Like, he doesn't even look like a movie star.
Yeah.
Let alone, like, a guy that could tear you up on a basketball court. But he's both.
Yeah.
And he's rich. He's so rich.
And I don't know why I remember this, but I do just remember, I forget who said it. It might have been, like, Jennifer Aniston. But, like, they asked her, like, who was the best, like, kisser that she's ever worked with. And she was like, oh, it's Adam Sandler, hands down.
Oh, my God, dude.
So
that dude is just rolling.
He's just living everyone's dream.
Mm-hmm. Is he married?
I don't even know, man. All I think about with Adam Sandler is, like, that TikTok sound where it's like, all you guys in the crowd have to remember yourselves as the guys who lost to Adam Sandler. I forget what it was.
He's been married for almost 20 years.
Yeah, he is married. Been married only once. Has never gotten divorced.
King.
They have 2 kids, Sonny and Sadie.
Sadie was in this movie.
And has a nephew who's also been featured in his films, such as Pixels and Home Team.
Interesting.
So this man rolls deep with his family.
Everyone eats.
Mm-hmm.
Man, we just have to do a deep dive on his life, maybe.
We do. We really do. But, like, I've heard that he is honestly one of the nicest people, like, in Hollywood. Yeah. Like, he's just a good dude.
Yeah, I remember, like, back in like, I don't know, middle school, high school age, I saw, like, it's one of those, like, Twitter things where it's like, yeah, like, my little brother saw Adam Sandler in public and gave him, like, a shirt from his middle school, and then, like, a week later, Adam Sandler's out wearing that shirt in public. Like, a lot of people were just like, oh, thanks, cool, and then just throw it out.
Yeah, there's actually, so out in Holden, where my girlfriend's family, they live around, actually it's in West Boylston, which is, you know, right in that area where they live. There's a restaurant there that I've been to that, like, one of their big things that he went when he was in the area filming a movie, just rolled up and came and ate at this local little dive restaurant. And like took pictures with the staff and the owners, and like it was in the local newspaper. Like it was a big deal. Like that's just the kind of stuff that this man does. Like he doesn't need to go to 5-star restaurants all the time and eat 50 deep, with security all around him. He's just gonna roll up to some local place and go check it out, and go eat there. It's the Mill in West Boylston, by the way, if anyone wants to check it out.
Interesting. Yeah, that cool seems like something you would do.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, cool stuff. He's a cool dude.
Mm-hmm. I did like there's that gag, and not even a gag. It was like it's a joke, but like after the scene of them like all dancing with their wives and whatnot, David Spade, he's single, so he's like passed out drunk on the couch. And like Adam Sandler just comes down in the middle of the night, and Kevin James is just standing there with a jug of water, and Adam Sandler grabs a jug of water from the fridge, and they're saying like, dude, our wives just like went at us tonight, and they just like synchronize like 3 deep chugs. I don't know why I found that so funny. But like I don't want to out myself, but you take the sex out of it. I've been in that kind of moment where it's just like, give me my jug of water. I'm gonna just
sit here and drink
chug this bitch. Yeah, I'm a weirdo. All right, so everything's going great at this lake house until it isn't. So, starts like they're all hanging out that next morning, and like David Spade is like talking about like, oh, like I had I like hooked up with this blonde and it was going great until something fell and hit her head, and in the background one of Rob Schneider's daughters, the blonde one, has like a cut on her head, so Rob thinks that David hooked up with his daughter, so he chases Rob chases David, and it gets everyone's attention, so they all go out there, and now like the conflicts start to pop up because Adam Sandler's character had canceled their Milan trip before they even got to the lake house. He didn't tell his wife, so she was pissed that he lied. Chris Rock, his wife accuses him of flirting with their nanny, and Chris Rock is like, no, like it was nice to actually just talk to someone, because him and his wife are having their own marriage issues, like we kind of talked about how she's just kind of rude to him and whatnot. Kevin James had been lying to all of them because he was like he said like early on that he was like promoted to manager of a store, and turns out he got laid off, so he was pretty insecure about that and wanted to make everyone think that he was doing well. And then Rob has the worst lie, I would say, of them all. He's been wearing a toupee this entire time, which...
How could you say that? Jeez. No, that's got to be censored.
I'm sorry if you heard that unedited. I apologize. No one needs to hear that coming from me. In my defense, though, it is the worst looking toupee ever.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
Like, you wear a toupee when you're balding and you want to just make it look like you got a full head of hair. He already has a full head of hair. This is just like, I don't even...
On top.
Yeah, it's literally on top of his head, on top of his hair. And there's a scene where like his first daughter arrives and she's trying to fix her car, and Gloria steps in, and one of the gags is like the steam is like blowing and it's like all seductive, And when Gloria does it, only Rob is getting into it, and you see his hair like almost fly off his head. Just look bad. But everything gets resolved pretty much immediately, so no conflict here. They just all say like, "I'm sorry, I lied," and everything's good. So they end up having that rematch basketball game that they were challenged to. I think it's just like at a fair or whatever, festival maybe. And them boys were nice. Like they're hitting their shots, good fundamental basketball, making their layups. This is the scene that I mentioned with Chris Rock and another guy. They were trying to trash talk each other, and they were like, no, I'm the black guy. You're the other black guy here. Like, these are my white friends. Like, all that stuff. I found it really funny.
It was funny.
But then Kevin James and his counterpart, they're like the fat guys, so they're like, oh, dude, I can't keep running. Like, let's just fake injuries. So it comes down to Adam Sandler and Greg, as well as Dickie and his son, whatever the fuck his name is.
No one knows. No one cares.
It's his little son.
His claim to fame was going, ooh, at the Vosswater thing. That's about it.
Yeah. So Adam Sandler decides to let Dickie win because like it clearly means a lot to him, so he bricks his shot, which he never does. And then after Dickie makes the layup to win it, they all go for fireworks just to relax, and he says like, yeah, he needed this. Like, his family needed a win, and our family needed to learn how to lose. And, like, everyone's having, like, a nice closing moment until David Spade pops up with that bow and arrow again. He's like, we're playing. Except this time there are hundreds of other people just trying... And children just trying to enjoy the fireworks. But now David Spade launches that arrow up, and everyone runs except poor Wiley, who is in a full body cast. No one's helping him. And he gets that arrow through the foot. He's like, hey, at least we won. And passes out, and that's how this movie ends.
Jesus. Oh, man. I don't know about you guys, but I really did enjoy the scene where they were all together kind of airing out their issues and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. It felt very genuine, and like this is again another moment where it's like Gloria carries this movie because that monologue that she gives about all of them and like being a family and stuff like that, it's like, oh, right in the heart, man. Like I was like, it's so true, and it's like how I feel about my friends, and you know, it's like, oh God, she's just powerhouse. Every scene she's in, she steals it.
And I do like that. I mean, right up until like Rob and his toupee, like they were legitimate issues. It wasn't like everything that they were talking about had been foreshadowed before. Like with Adam Sandler, like from the beginning, he was very upset that his kids were like texting their nanny for something that they could just walk down the hall to get.
Yeah, they were so disconnected from what real life normal living is.
Yeah, and like Chris Rock, like when we're introduced to him, he's like cooking for his family, and like they just immediately like shit on it. They're like, "Oh, this tastes terrible," and his wife had gotten a pizza instead for everyone. So it's like, oh, she's already not appreciating the work he's doing. And you know, Kevin James, he was feeling a little insecure about like being unemployed, and you could see him like at that dinner. He's like, oh, "Here's my card. Like, I got it. Don't worry about it." So they're all like real issues that people deal with. And I like David Spade didn't really have that much, but his thing is like he's just single, and he doesn't have much
He's just along for the ride.
Yeah. Well, I guess they do he does have like a thing where he's like, oh, like you guys all have your lives together and I'm still trying to figure it out. Like I'm still single and getting drunk on couches.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think in the sequel they give him a son or something. So.
Yes, I did actually start watching the sequel today. And he did have a son. Well,
I liked it. I liked the basketball game too.
The basketball game was a lot of fun. Did you guys realize that I don't know why I never made the connection. Those jerseys, they're Water Whiz shirts. They're just t-shirts from Water Whiz. Like they're not even like, but the other guys are wearing like
replicas.
Bigger versions of their Little League Pee-wee jerseys.
Mm-hmm.
It's so pathetic, man. It's so bad.
Like, if you couldn't figure it out, like, clearly, Adam Sandler's crew, they're just having fun. That's why they're wearing, like, the Water Whiz. Dickie and his crew care so much about this basketball game from their childhood that they got replica jerseys made out for this very moment. Yeah, that's dedication.
I also love like Kevin James when he's about to when they're about to fake injury. Do you see that behind the back pass he gives to Adam Sandler?
Oh yeah, no,
it was
dope. Crisp.
Like he literally caught the ball, was like falling over from being tired, and it just threw it backward. Perfect pass.
These boys were nice. They did have that dog in them.
Yeah.
Especially, I will give him credit. Rob was playing on a not broken foot, but
he had a hole.
Yeah, he had a hole in his foot. He played through it. That's the heart of a champion right there.
Yep. Favorite line, or one of my favorite lines in this movie, Dickie Bailey's wife. You almost spilled my freaking beer. It's just in the Boston accent.
You almost spilled my freaking beer, and he's like, "Don't make everything about you."
It's like, oh my god, that is so white trash New England.
Yeah,
it fits.
It's okay that we say it because we are also white trash from New England.
Yes, I do wish we had done without the final era roulette and just. Like, this movie would have been better if we had ended on a scene of them, like, around the campfire in the evening back at the cabin. And it's just, like, we can tell that they're all having fun. We get a few more final quips, and then we pan up and out, and then we're done.
Mm-hmm.
But I could have done without the arrow roulette thing, at least to end the movie.
You really hated it, didn't you?
I don't know. It just wasn't my favorite. It just wasn't really... It wasn't really what I was going for.
Maybe you guys stand outside the movie theaters, just like boycott this movie. They're playing.
It has arrow roulette. It's so dangerous.
Kids have died from this. this fictional game.
Yep. Oh boy. Well, are we ready to give our final reviews?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
I do wish we could chat longer, but I'm having an old friend for dinner.
Well, now that we finished this movie, let's give it our official final rating. But we do wish we could stay longer, but it's time to give our final impressions. Sam, why don't you kick us off with your rating of this movie?
Yeah, I enjoyed this movie. It's always going to be a classic. I gave this movie a 3.5 out of 5 stars.
All right, 3.5. Connor, go ahead. You can go next.
I also enjoyed this movie. I think it definitely has held up pretty well in 12 years since it came out, since I first saw it. I also gave it 3.5 stars.
Wow.
Definitely a movie I would put on for like a group of friends if they came over. We just wanted something fun to watch.
For sure. And so when I've talked about this before, when I do give a movie a score, I rate it based on my enjoyment, and I try to compare it to things within its own genre. You know, like I'm not going to compare this movie to something like Scream. You know, I'm not going to compare this movie to something like, you know, Citizen Kane or The Godfather, because it's not that. And if I were to compare it, it'd be like a 1, because there's no comparing. Mm-hmm. But with that said, in the realm of comedy movies, I had so much fun, and there were obviously parts of this movie that I wasn't really a fan of. But with that said, I couldn't in fair faith give it the same score as something like I did for Scream or Fast Times or something like that. So I am going to give this movie, and Connor, you're going to hate me, a 3.8 out of 5.
Why do you?
Okay.
Why do you have to be so pretentious?
I gave it 3.8. You can't give it a 3.75.
It's a 3.79, but I rounded up.
Well, look, it wasn't up to that 4 level to me, but I felt like it was better than just a little bit above average. So I went with a 3.8.
God. I
that brings our average for this movie to be a 3.6.
I hate you.
Which, if sorted by score, puts us at number 3 on our list of movies that we've seen, just above 10 Things I Hate About You and Fast Times, and right below Halloween 2018.
Sick.
I didn't realize like how many people actually freaking hated this movie.
Oh my god, it's insane.
It's like, what?
It's funny because I'm looking at the Letterboxd thing and I'm looking at the rating. You could not describe a more perfect bell chart. Like,
yeah, right.
There's like a good amount of like bad reviews. There's a good amount of like super positive, but most people just kind of fall in this "it was all right" category, which I think is fair. Right. Like, this is an all right to good movie. If you take it too serious, you're not gonna like it. If you're just here for the ride, it's pretty fun.
You're probably gonna like it.
It's fun.
Yeah. Well, the last thing that we have to do before we end this podcast is we've got to spin the wheel for next week's episode. Are you guys ready?
Well, let's see. It's probably gonna be Joe Dirt. I'm trying to think. Another David Spade movie.
We've got... Drum roll, please. Ooh, first selection that we can choose from is 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Of all the sound effects, so you don't have a drum roll?
I don't have a drum roll yet.
You need to get
Wait
that one.
for next week. Wait for next
Stay
week,
tuned.
and I will have a drum roll.
I'm like
tuned.
sitting on the edge of my seat, like is it coming?
I'll just do this.
Please don't. Like, that is so loud.
That's so obnoxious.
It's so obnoxious.
All right.
So 40-Year-Old Virgin. We are moving away from this style, and we're moving to Judd Apatow.
So we have got either 40-Year-Old Virgin or Wedding Crashers.
Oh, okay.
Do we want to double up on Adam Sandler? Or do we want to try something new?
He's not in Wedding Crashers, I thought.
No, he's in Wedding Singer.
Oh, Wedding Singer. That's right. Wedding
This
Crashers.
is the Vince Vaughn, Owen Wilson.
I was going to say, what's that show where it's like you have to get from point A to point like X, like trying to figure out everything in between related? Like, that's just our month.
What is it? It's not Lingo.
Like X degrees of separation or something.
Yeah.
It's like how are we gonna get from Chris Farley to Steve Carell by the end of the month? Everything's connected.
I think my vote is gonna be for Wedding Crashers, but I will leave your guys' vote up to you.
I can't go wrong with the gold Steve Carell. I'm gonna go with 40-Year-Old.
The Vajon. Oh boy, that leaves me.
So it leaves it up to you.
That leaves you, Connor, to decide.
Oh, boy.
Do you want Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn and Rachel McAdam and Isla Fisher? Or do you want Steve Carell?
So I like both of these movies. But I am going to give... Drumroll, please. Don't do that. Don't... Oh. I'm going to go I'm going to go with...
Should I do the drum roll again?
No, I was so caught off guard again. I'm going to go with 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Wow, 40-Year-Old Virgin next time on the Filmbox podcast.
I just think that we got going with this 40 or like 6 degrees of separation thing. I think that this gives us the best chance of linking Chris Farley to someone he has never met before.
Well, if you like this episode, you can give us a follow and leave us a rating on your favorite podcast platform. It helps us out. We really appreciate it. We do this show for fun. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I love doing it. And having your, everyone's support is great.
Yeah.
You can also follow us on Twitter. It's twitter.com at the Filmbox Pod for as long as we're still on Twitter and it doesn't get absolutely destroyed by people who have taken over the platform. That's enough political talk for me.
I mean, if we got $8, no one can top us.
Also, I'd like to thank Josh Woodward for our amazing theme music, Airplane Mode. You can also check out our website. It's thefilmboxpod.com. We've got a lot of movie reviews out already for some of the new movies that have come out recently. We've got over 20 plus movie reviews planned through the end of December. So stay tuned and keep an eye out because we've got so much coming, and I'm so excited to get reviewing and get our essays out there for you guys. We also have a Facebook. We've got an Instagram. We've got a TikTok. We don't post as much on there, but it's still fun to keep in the know. We've got a merch store. If you like merch, I'm working on some new pieces of merch. I did say when we did Halloween, I was going to do a Mike Myers one, and now I got to do, what was it, like the Kids Do Dumb Shit?
Do Dumb Shit. I got my Maybe I'm Just a Slut shirt coming.
Yep. Also, we've got I love whales and lemonade. Or no, I love sharks and lemonade.
I love sharks and ladders.
Those ladders. Yeah.
I love sharks and ladders.
Wait, yeah, I got an idea. I'm sorry. Maybe this can wait for after the pod. Keep going.
Okay. Finally, you can check out our Letterboxd profiles. You can see what movies we've been watching, keep updated to what we've been checking out beyond our reviews and beyond the podcast. Well, without further ado, I am your host, Aaron Souza. I'm joined by Connor and Sam, and this has been the Filmbox Podcast.
Buenos noches, amigos.
I'm running away, don't bother to Facebook message or call me, 'cause I'm living life in airplane mode and everything is okay. I just want to play, unplug for the day and live in the moment, 'cause I'm living life in airplane mode, yeah.
Today's a great day to start your own podcast. Whether you're looking for a new marketing channel, have a message you want to share with the world, or just think it'd be fun to have your own talk show, podcasting is an easy, inexpensive, and fun way to expand your reach online. Buzzsprout is hands down the easiest way and the best way to launch, promote, and track your podcast. Your shows can be online and listed in all the major podcast directories like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and even more within minutes of finishing your recording. Podcasting isn't hard when you have the right partners, and the team at Buzzsprout is passionate about helping you succeed. Join over 100,000 podcasters already using Buzzsprout to get their message out to the world. Let's create something great together.
Following the link in the show notes lets Buzzsprout know we sent you, as well as getting you a $20 Amazon gift card if you sign up for a paid plan, and it helps support our show.
We use Buzzsprout, and honestly, it's really great. I use it to track all of our where we're being listed. We get our own website. It's really just a fantastic service, and I would recommend it to anyone that's interested in starting a podcast.
Buzzsprout helps you get your show listed on every major podcast platform. That takes one of the hardest steps in creating a podcast out of the equation for you, thanks to Buzzsprout's help.
And if you want to upgrade, Buzzsprout has tons of guides to help you find the right equipment at the right price. Plus, it helps you navigate how to do things, how to market your show, how to make money off your show, how to do all sorts of stuff. It's all right there for you to use. Honestly, it's not hard when you have the right partners, and Buzzsprout is absolutely one of the best partners you can have out there.
They care about you. They're passionate about helping you succeed with your show.
So if you're interested in signing up for Buzzsprout, use the link in the description of the show here. Like we said, it'll get you $20 Amazon gift card, and it supports us, and we appreciate it greatly. And now back to the show.
Ooh.